Popina has evolved since it opened in 2017, but the Hot Chicken Milanese is still on the menu. What makes it such a crowd pleaser? Let's find out.
I grew up in an Italian household and, I never thought ever about starting my own restaurant. I actually just started working in hospitality because I needed to pay for college after my dad passed. My mom was always in the kitchen and she'd be like, Jay, shape the meatballs or pound the chicken cutlets. She was always giving me these little tasks. So the idea that we've carried on this chicken cutlet idea into the restaurant only seems fitting.
My name is Zarisa, and we're gonna start pounding our chicken. And then we go all like in a circle. Then we stop a little bit and then we check where we need to pound a little bit more. Like over here is a little bit thicker, so I'll go a little bit more here. Imagine doing 50 of those. Now I'm gonna start adding the black pepper. We're gonna grind it all over the chicken. And then I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna grind it again. I'm gonna add the salt. Now we're gonna add the fennel powder. Now we're gonna add the zest. Now we're gonna put it in the flour. We're gonna cover it very well. We're gonna go to the next step for the buttermilk. Now it's completely covered. We're gonna go to the next step, the panko.
I used to work at a restaurant called Maialino with my former business partner, Chris, and we love the idea of like an Italian trattoria. You go into a Roman trattoria and there's this like warmth. We wanted to create a restaurant that leaned Italian, but also was very much about the sense of community and hospitality.
Here we go. And then it cooks around by 2 minutes. I love it when it comes out of the fire and it's like the spices and then you eat it with a ranch. It's a very delicious chicken Milanese. Now we'll put it in the basket. So we have the chicken spice right here. And then we're gonna add the oil so we can activate all those flavors. With my spoon, I'm gonna mix it very well. So now this is what we got. And now from here we go here in this little basket, this tray. We season it with salt. And then I'm gonna brush the spices.
The restaurant has since evolved now that I'm no longer partners with Chris. When we opened, we were like so concentrated on giving the food and drink that like we want. And I think it's evolved into more listening what the neighborhood wants and creating the best possible experience within that context. The hot chicken used to have radicchio instead of gem lettuce. As somebody that works on the floor would be clearing dishes a lot, and visually the radicchio looked beautiful, but if I see radicchio not getting finished, then I'm like, well, maybe people want a less bitter green. And so now we do gem lettuce and there's never any lettuce left on the plate, So I think it's just like paying attention and adapting and saying, okay, like, is this integrity of this dish still what it needs to be?
Thank you.
That looks amazing. That is legitimately awesome. That is a perfect mix of spicy, tangy, creamy with the ranch, and then a nice little kick of veg at the end. Sort of evens it all out and takes the edge off the spice. Oh, that is rock star.
Whether you've lived in this neighborhood for 30 years before it got, cool, or somebody who just moved in yesterday, we want to be welcoming to everyone. I would love to eventually have a project in the financial district. I would like to see more kind of like mom and pops in the financial district specifically, because there's these great restaurants, but I think like sometimes they lack the soul that you could like feel when you're like going to some Brooklyn restaurants. Simple but very intentional and thought of is what we stand for at Popina. We don't have to tell the guests that, they could just taste that.
Thanks for coming.